Napivulna,
Niake,
Janet,
Kikadus,
Alito,
Madawaka,
Sio,
Unsti Huntadish,
Wina,
Gwana, Kunamante,
Tongo, Oshkinyacha,
Yate,
Hanapi.
Mike.
I ran out. Did
Good
we get them all?
morning. Yeah, we did.
All right, all right. Well, good morning, good morning. Coming live from 1950 South Shepherd here in El Reno. I am Barry B. Barry Boat. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my
You
name's
like nobody?
Tatum Escott. I know. I'm like, wait, we're introducing
yeah.
ourselves again.
Yeah. Well, somebody might not know.
That's true. We might have someone new on here.
So, we had a fabulous and amazing night with the speaker meeting last night.
Hmm.
It was, had people crying, laughing. I felt like we touched on a lot of good subjects that, ain't really discussed out loud, in the community.
Hmm.
Especially
from a youth perspective.
Yeah, from a youth perspective, we had two of my nieces, Miss Maya Levi and Carly Flying Out, come and talk to us about their experience through dealing with parents or a parent that is an addict. So it was I gotta give them a big shout out for having the courage
Hmm.
to come up and speak about their journey. And and it's only the beginning for them.
Right.
There's such young, smart, beautiful young ladies, like you can see how they're going to be able to take this into, their own life experiences.
Hmm.
And we're just trying to get that message out there that, recovery is possible.
Yeah.
That's not the end result whenever you get on the drug or you get on the pookie. So
For all walks of life.
yeah, all walks of
that,
life.
That
That's amazing.
that's
That
cool that the youth is coming in.
yeah. So and that was the most engaged that I've ever seen the audience.
Really.
They were all quiet.
Wow. That's amazing.
All of them were quiet. And they just kind of and we had a good meal. We had chili, drink, green chicken pasoli,
Yum.
cornbread, stew, cake. You know, yeah, a lot of sweet tea. But yeah, it was an amazing event. We had a full house like we always do. And it was, it turned out great. I didn't really have like a set thing in my head, like, this is what we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to do.
Hmm.
It just kind of happened organically.
Yeah.
And, I, everybody thought I was going to, kind of clown on Dave, but it was his daughter, that was throwing him under the bus. But, that if you know him and his family, that's just how they kid.
Yeah.
Like that's just how they joke around.
Hmm.
So it was great to see them get comfortable.
Yeah.
To see them get comfortable and just speak from the heart.
I was thinking like the first time that I spoke on any of my experiences, I was 23 or 24.
Aww.
So like for them to do that, already as teenagers is huge. It's really, really special.
Yes, it is. I mean, I got to commend them for just I couldn't have done that whenever I was their age.
Hmm.
I was ashamed. I was full of shame and guilt for having parents that were alcoholics.
Yeah.
How do you express that to somebody unless somebody else is going through it? And then with natives, it just becomes a joke.
Hmm.
Like I remember me and my cousins would be at school just giving each other hell, about the dumbest things.
Hmm.
Seeing this guy's mom, she's all buzzed up. It's like, And we would just, but you would feel like the shame and guilt of that.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's how you like cover it up
yeah,
with laughter.
laughter. So yeah, I think, that was just maybe one more cap to our hat, like where that we can we found another positive way to reach an audience that, maybe feeling left out.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the ideal that we found a way to connect to another group of individuals,
Yeah.
that may not have, because I know when you're going through it and while your parent is drunk, like there's no. I remember one time I told my dad, I said he had a big bottle of liquor in front of him. I think it was like Wild Turkey or something. Like he was sitting there and he was like talking crazy to me, like
Mm-hmm.
talking crazy to me and, was hurting my feelings. And, like I'm sitting there crying, like, and it was just for no, like just because I was sitting there. And I said, I'm about to grab that bottle and I'm about to break it over your head.
You told him that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, if you ever do that to me, I'll never ever speak to you again.
Mm-hmm.
And like, just when I thought he couldn't hurt me anymore,
Mm-hmm.
For him to tell me that, it was just like, like, what am I even doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of having you in my life? I didn't ask for this.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, so to see these young ladies to find a way to heal and to engage in the culture and to be a positive, to keep a positive outlook on life. I mean, it's amazing, because I remember being that kid. I remember having that hurt. I remember feeling all alone.
Mm-hmm.
Even though me and my brothers and my sisters and, like we were all going through it with my mom, she didn't get to come home and drink. But she would show up, lit. She would show up
Get lit before she came home.
Yeah, she would definitely get lit before, because there was no drinking or smoking at my grandma's. So, she would have to go other places to do those things. But, that meant that we're probably put on the back burner for the weekend.
Yeah.
So, it's great to see these young ladies find to keep moving forward and to stay positive and, to be that, that beacon of light for their family.
Yeah, to talk about it so
Talk
that
about it.
they're healing from it. You heal when you talk about things,
Definitely.
So very proud of them.
Yeah, I'm super
It's
proud
awesome.
of them. Do we have any comments, Mr. Chebeda?
Yes. Jeremy Harjo says Stongo.
Stongo.
I could have made it. Melissa Pedro says good morning.
Good
Good morning, dear babe.
Jerry Fraser says good day, working on 3 years.
Oh, all right, all right.
Dave
brother.
Levi says it was an amazing evening. Probably would have been bawling if I wasn't cracking up the whole time.
Yeah. Appreciate you coming.
Levi Harjo says good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good
Stongo.
afternoon.
But yeah, it was we had a full house.
Almost ran out of chairs.
Had to
scramble for tables.
It was cool.
It's awesome.
I mean, I was still full from lunch.
Yeah, right. Whenever they're bringing the food in, you're like, I'm just now not full.
I know, like I was just now able to breathe.
Oh, look, Amber Beard says good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Amber.
Amber.
All right, that's another niece. I seen she
She's gonna be
got
the
on.
next speaker.
I heard she got on the youth council.
Are you at school? No, I'm just kidding.
Class.
But yeah, she got on the youth council.
That's awesome.
So yeah, very proud of my niece.
Keep doing good things,
Oh
Amber.
yes.
I know. We got shirts for you to make too. So
Yeah, we
if you
got
wanna
shirts
come
for you
back,
to make.
Yeah.
Just come back to the office.
Yeah.
Come
start
back
working.
anytime. Perhaps.
Oh my
she
gosh.
said
She's
she's
in
at
school right now.
I think whenever I was headed into work, headed from Darlington. It looked like they were about to have some sort of
outing.
parade or something. Like all the kids were gathered outside.
Really?
Yeah,
Probably just a fight.
maybe.
I just a fight.
Who knows?
Never know at El Reno.
For real.
But yeah, so yeah, good morning, Amber. Glad you could tune in. So yeah, we had an amazing speaker night. I felt like them young ladies probably had a way bigger impact than I could ever have.
Hmm.
Just because of like how many kids do you know that are willing to get up and speak about these things?
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it.
Sometimes you have to like force teenagers to talk. You know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
of them are just.
Yeah, those two, they just, Maya comes to our meetings,
Mhm.
and she was never ever scared to get up and share and getting to her emotions.
Yeah.
There'd been a couple of meetings, where she, poured her heart out, and it was great to see her dad sitting there and just to be able to hug her when she got done,
Mm.
and hear them, tell each other they loved each other, and like seeing that type of healing, heals a part of me.
Yeah.
Every time it's something like that heals a part of me. So, I can't see what this leads to. Maybe we do need to go to more youth council.
Yeah, I
meetings.
did like that. They told us what we were doing wrong and told us what we were doing right. I think you have all these programs or all these like initiatives where it's like adult driven things. We're like, oh, the kids will love it, and it's like not
Not
interesting.
done
Yeah,
that.
and then so getting their perspective on like all they want is for us to just be there,
Interact.
and so it is going to be something that drives us forward even more. And then we got told that like our culture closet is definitely needed because we
Mhm.
heard about unity where people didn't have regalia. We heard like the positivity that it does have, and so like I could see us sending them with like the entire culture closet at Unity.
Yeah.
And then that way everybody has an opportunity. I think it'll also bring light, like how we had sober seams the other night, but I want to do one where people are actually like making regalia for
the kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that'll also help a lot of people. And then we got to figure out the biggest thing for us is trying to figure out how to get the teen males involved, because I know
that's
we talk about it all the time. Like they're not interested in culture at the time; they're interested in girls at the time.
girls.
And I'm like, I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
like I knew what it was like being a teen, and so that's our next battle is figuring out how to engage with young males, because
Yeah.
that's
that's where
where
the disconnect happens.
yeah, because I think it was you telling me about how Albert was talking about how you can see we have
Yeah.
these adult males in the arena, we have these little guys in the arena,
Yeah.
but there's
The
No-
teens.
no
No
teen.
teens in there.
And so it's still us just going back to the drawing board, figuring out how we can get them out there. I think we got a lot of good ideas, we got a little
Feedback.
a lot of good feedback, and so now it's just kind of figuring out how we can be better,
Take
Um,
action.
yeah, because like I mean we get like a lot of brainstorming ideas, but it might not work, and that a lot of people are scared to take that leap to see if it works. And so
Yeah.
I'm glad to see like at least one of our things with the culture closet is working, and so now we just need to expand on it, and so hopefully we'll get a lot of positivity
Yeah.
out of it.
Got
Yeah.
some initiative. We definitely got some initiative.
We have all the supplies too, and I've been learning a lot just by watching the ladies downstairs, Bobby, Irene, that know already what they're doing. I watched them map out a tea dress, so we just need to make a bunch of random tea dresses and
Yep.
skirts and stuff to send with them. That'd be really
Only
fun.
crying once during one tea dress.
Only one crash out per dress.
Just laying on the floor. What am I doing wrong?
Throw that tea dress on.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. But yeah, it was an amazing time. Gave us a lot of great ideas. Now all we need is the action part. You know, maybe we do need to get in touch with Unity and find out, just what the youth council is up to.
Hmm.
Because that's where it begins.
Yeah.
That's where I feel like if we can just, and it's always that, can we find a way to connect, with these young men, these young ladies?
Hmm.
And I feel like we got the heart for it. We definitely got the heart for it.
The passion too.
passion.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, I see some great things happening from the result of yesterday. So do we have any more comments, Mr. Chebeda?
Dear babe wants you. Blah, blah. I'll show you this picture of her that she took of us laughing yesterday. She wants to know if I showed it to you, but I didn't.
No, he did.
I did not.
He did not show.
My Auntie Dina says good morning from Albuquerque.
Good morning, Auntie Dina.
And then Francis Lone Bear says Pivawana, enjoying these days off.
Pivawana.
Marga Perez says good morning, blessings, and have a nice day to all.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you for tuning in, brother Fran.
Susanna Lunsford says good morning.
Good morning, Susan.
Phyllis White Thunder says good morning.
Good morning, Phyllis the realist.
Amber Beard says, speaking of regalias, what's the word on that powwow in October y'all were telling me about? Just be there. October 25th.
October 25th.
Is that
the Red Ribbon Week? I can't say it. Wed
Wibbin
Week. Reek.
Wed Wibbin Reek.
Yeah. And so it'll be a youth dance that All Nations Recovery and the prevention programs are putting on in Clinton. There'll be contests for Tiny Tots, juniors, and teens, all categories.
Did we get a head?
I think it's Caden.
Okay.
Awesome.
But Amber, just be ready.
Amber,
we're gonna ask you
ready.
Eventually.
Yeah, you already got the hookup, so
I know Desi already wore your dress though, so it stinks.
Whatever.
Pew.
Oh my gosh.
Well, should we go ahead and jump off into this reading?
Yes.
Is this the new one?
It's a long one.
That's it. It's on there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the right one.
You could try to say devastated. It's the deva.
Oh my god.
The didactic.
All right. Bear with me. This is a long one. It's August 29th. The devastated earth, the air, water, the extinct species of mankind, animal kind, and plant kind, the drugs, suicides, family separations. These are all the result of false ceremonies. Barney Bush, Shawnee. All life is a ceremony. Every act is a ceremony, creating a result in our lives. Every ceremony we do always brings result to our lives. If we do bad medicine to others, we do bad medicine to ourselves. If we keep doing bad ceremonies, we will eventually destroy ourselves. Anytime we live our lives out of harmony, we are doing bad ceremonies.
Mingo, can you get it together, please?
Put a bag over your head, please. Jeez. Anytime we treat anything with disrespect, whether it is another human being or a plant or an animal, we are performing bad ceremonies. These ceremonies not only have an effect on ourselves, but will simultaneously affect everything. We need to use our power well, only do good ceremonies. My Creator, teach me only good ceremonies. Teach me ceremonies that accomplish good for all people. Good ceremonies cause good results. Teach me ceremonies that are helpful. Sorry about that, guys. We had a little
Mingo started
little
watching TikTok over here,
disruption.
full blast.
And I was into that meditation. I was reading it so smooth.
Oh, he's texting his lover Milo Smith.
God.
But
Tell him to do a free comedy show then for interrupting us.
How do you feel about that?
Whenever I think about, all these, like how everything is a ceremony, and I look back at my own family, on my Boton side, my dad, my Uncle Bobby, my Uncle Crow, my Aunt Erin, like just them four individuals by themselves, and they also had a older brother named Frank, and they had a younger sister named Mary who, is still who's still living.
Mm,
And she's the only one, she's the oldest one in my family.
really?
Yeah, she's the oldest one in my family, from that side. My grandma had to watch all her kids die besides Mary. She watched all her kids, my Uncle Frankie, my dad, Johnny, uh, my Aunt Aaron, my Uncle Crow, my Uncle Bobby. And it's like they went in reverse.
Hmm.
First, it was my Uncle Bobby. He died in a car wreck.
So the youngest.
Well, actually,
Start with the youngest.
their dad, Franklin Botone, he got hit by a truck in Phoenix.
Mm,
I guess he was drinking and he stumbled out into the road, and a truck hit him and drug him for 2 blocks.
wow.
And that's how, his life was taken as a result of, alcohol. Well, then my Uncle Bobby died in 1990. In 1990, my Uncle Bobby died. He died in a car wreck over there on I-40 by Whitewater. And then that was whenever I was 10. Then my Uncle Crow died whenever I was 12. In 92, he drowned out at Lake El Reno. And then by 1996, my Aunt Aaron got diagnosed with cirrhosis. And but I had already gotten locked up and was on my way to prison. I was 16 years old.
Hmm.
And I didn't get to make it to her funeral or anything. My dad came and told me like 2 days before I was going to go to court and get sentenced. He said, "Hey, just want to let you know your auntie died and we buried her like yesterday."
Wow.
I was devastated. And then here I go to prison. Get out whenever I'm 17. I go when I'm 16. I get out when I'm 17 for discharging a firearm from a moving vehicle. Went to a first time offenders program. Get out, and I thought I was the bee's knees, right?
Hmm.
I get out and I'm in shape because I went to RID, like doing 1,000 push-ups just for the hell of it. And it was just off and running. Like you would think like doing a little bit of time would help you straighten up.
Hmm.
I got worse, like. And
That just
then,
made you think you were a
yeah,
gangster
just
then, huh?
made me think I was even tougher, like I wore that my DLC like as a, like it was a stripe or something, like, just not the mentality you want a teenager to have,
Yeah.
like. And I thought that my life was over, before it even began. I thought my life was over before it even began. So when it says that everything's a ceremony, I would still go to sweats. I would still go to peyote meetings. I would still go to the Sundance. But those were like, for some reason, I didn't think that way of life tied in with my street way of life.
Hmm.
I know where my heart is. My heart belongs over here. But my ass is over here, like, and there's a hard difference to tell between my ass and my brain because they work the same, right? Just full of it, just... and that's just me being honest, that was just my reality.
Yeah.
And I started having kids, and I was a good dad. I would have to say, I was a good dad, man. Nobody can ever take that away from me.
Hmm.
Well, then as my kids got older, and me and their mother split up, I had my oldest son, Isaiah, with Catherine. And then I have the next 4 kids with Carrie. And then the last 2 kids I have with Summer.
Yeah.
I have 7 kids. And, I I would have to say for the most part, I feel like I was, somebody that my kids could depend on. But I have this thing in my head where I'm I'm not quite an alcoholic. I mean, I had been an alcoholic whenever I got out of prison till I was about 19
Mhm.
and I started having kids, but then I went to go work. But I'm not making enough money. Never enough money, right?
Mhm. Well,
Well, I didn't
no,
know how to spend it.
with 7 kids, right?
Well, at the time I only had 5.
Oh.
But, like never enough money. I remember when I had 2 kids and I was still
Mhm.
wasn't making enough money. I get this thing in my head that that I'm a drug dealer.
Oh.
I got this thing in my head like I have this street mentality like, I need more.
Mhm.
I can't just be happy with what I got. I need more. And what led me, I would say for the next 20 years, was a life full of pain and heartache. That drugs that was my religion.
Mhm.
Drugs, money. You know, um I get I get so involved in that world that I can't get out of it. It was tougher to stop selling drugs than it was to stop doing them.
Really?
Yes. Like
Because of
that
like
is like
the feeling you
I don't
get from
know,
it.
when you walk in the room, everybody's trying to be your best friend.
Mm.
Oh, what's up, bro? Like hugging me, like
Of course.
they're the happiest, everyone wants to be your best friend.
Yeah, you had the
Like
goods.
you find this false pride in being in this group of people.
Mhm.
And you're really convinced yeah, these are my people. These guys love me.
Yeah.
Like and eventually what happened was I got so involved in that world that I quit being a dad. I didn't see my kids for months and we lived in the same town.
Mhm.
I wouldn't see my kids for months. And then right in the middle of my addiction, my daughters, they went to Unity. Both of my daughters went to Unity that year. And my daughter came and stayed the night with her cousin at the house that I was at. And my son was at home. And you know, it was July 22nd, in 2016. Somebody knocks on the door. It's their mom. It's my kid's mom.
Mhm.
And she comes in, and the girl that she's with, my sister Shanna's crying. And I remember I'm sitting on the back, like there's a sliding glass door, and that the door is like open, and I'm sitting like on the back porch. And I hear everything that's going on, and I'm not trying to see their mom.
Yeah.
Me and her ain't getting along, which we hardly ever did. And I hear Shanna crying, and um, I hear my bro Manuel. He goes, "What's wrong? What's going on?" And my kid's mom wasn't even gonna come and tell me. That was one thing that kind of like stunned me. But I hear Shanna crying, and she says, "Isaac's dead." And I was back on the back porch smoking, and I heard like, "Isaac's dead." Like I get up and I go in there, and Shanna's like really crying, and she's like, "Your son's dead."
Oh my gosh.
And like I'm just like, "What?" Like I don't
You're in shock.
like no, like and their mom just like she goes back in the room and she gets my daughter and she just leaves, like she doesn't even like confirm or deny. Like she's already like mad at me. Like she's been mad at me for 20 something years now, but um, like anywhere that I thought that my addiction had taken me, any place that I thought that I would never ever see because of my addiction, any emotion that I was willing to run from because of my addiction, I felt like all of that came to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I, I had to bury my son. I had to bury my son, and I didn't know how to feel. Like you're just lost. And I couldn't tell anybody. I couldn't explain it to anybody. I had a couple of bros, that reached out to me. One of my good bros, Will, he messaged me, and he was like, bro, like I can't even imagine what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even imagine like the pain that you're facing right now. He said, because I'm sitting here with my sons, and I can't even fathom like what you're feeling right now. And I remember messaging him back, and all I could say, because I was crying at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like a day or two after the funeral. And I remember texting him back saying, it never gets any better. Like, because that's how I felt, that was, so then, my, if life is a ceremony, my life becomes, you know, all the bad things that I never thought existed. Because of my pride and my ego, like I'm never gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never gonna do that. Like you're a fiend if you do this, you're a fiend if you do that. And I never wanted to be a fiend, and the things that I promised myself I would never do, I was doing them every day.
Yeah.
The things that I promised myself were never ever capable of me doing, I was doing them every day. And it's like I was looking for hell. It's like I don't even know, like I really don't even really believe in hell.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't even believe in like a devil. Like, but I was, whatever is bad out there, like I wanted to face it. I wanted to find it.
Yeah.
And because, I felt like that's what I deserved. And that's a lonely place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very lonely place. It's an unforgiving place. And what happened somewhere along the way. I remember for about 2 years. You know, um, I actually sobered up a little bit after that.
Yeah.
But by then I had already gotten on the needle. I had already, I would just, I was like just so scared of emotion. Well, then, some things happened. I ended up going to jail. Like a week after my son's funeral, and then I get out. Um, you know, End up with my sis Angie. My sis Ange from Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
Angela French. And we're just on a tear. Like we're just terrorizing everywhere that we go.
Yeah.
And and then I ran into my uncle Robert one day, and he's like asking me how I am, asking me how I feel. How come I haven't seen him? How come I don't come by and visit? Like how come I don't stay in touch?
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me feel like I had forgotten all about my life at that point.
You're like in a whole different
Yeah, I'm like in a
reality.
whole different mentality where nothing else matters.
Yeah.
You know, Nothing else matters. And here's my favorite uncle in the whole world. let me know, like people are praying for you. People care about you. And like he kind of brought me back to reality for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling him, like, man, uncle, I'm just tired of running. Like I can't sit down. I can't even sit down
Yeah.
because I'm gonna start crying. Like I can't even like just chill out because, like everything starts hitting me, and it was tough, and so, I did get sober. I did sober up after that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm telling myself, I don't want my deaf son to be in vain. I don't want him to be for no reason. If I wasn't being a good dad, maybe I can be a good dad for my kids.
Yeah.
Maybe because like it was my disease was a me disease.
Mm-hmm.
I'm self-centered and I don't know how to express that I love somebody else. Without it hurting me. And that's a weird thing to say, but
Yeah, I don't understand that one. Can you elaborate?
yes, because I felt like I love my kids more than anything in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for one of them to be taken from this world, it's like if I have that love again, I'm just going to get hurt.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like I do I love them more or do I pull back?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, this is it's a me disease.
Yeah.
This thing is centered in my brain, but I don't realize that. So, I got sober. I started showing up for my kids, my companion at the time, our goal is to help her get her kids back. And, we sign up for these UAs, we go to these parenting classes, we're going to these meetings,
Mm-hmm.
but I am like so uncomfortable at AA.
Really?
But I remember 3 people, that, and they're still part of that club. Well, 2 of them are still a part of that clubhouse. 2 ladies, and, it was like, I hated it.
Mm-hmm.
I went there to go get a paper signed and that was it. So I white knuckled it for about 2.5, 3 years. And then me and my companion started having trouble. And, as soon as we broke up, I think we met up at the dope man's house.
Oh no.
Yeah. Because I'm one of those, this is how I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get so high that you're going to be sorry that you left me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, it's a me disease.
Right.
This thing is centered in my mind. I know anything I did after that point never even affected her. But to me, I'm getting her back.
Toxic. No.
Yeah, very, very codependent.
Mm.
And being able to go back out, get back on the needle, start drinking vodka. Like, man, things get bad quick.
Yeah.
Things get real bad real quick. And I was able to get a job. I got a job at a fast food restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd go to work lit.
Oh my gosh.
I'd go to work.
You were serving food?
I'm cooking food.
Oh no, that's even worse.
I'm a good cook, lit or not. Yeah.
Better lit.
Yeah, it has a timer on it.
Oh my god.
But I was, that's when I found out I'm unemployable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to work drunk. And they don't have enough help, so they can't send me home.
Oh my god.
And I don't even care. Suffer for a couple more years. And when I turned 40 years old, I told myself, I'm going to quit selling drugs and I'm going to quit fighting.
Wow.
Well, it only got worse. Got beat up a few more times.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm not selling drugs, so I can do them all now.
Oh, you quit your day job
Yeah.
to do your night job all day.
And I knew, like I'm in trouble.
Hmm.
Like I can't quit. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So, I, called my bro, Justin Evans, shout out to South Coast, But I didn't go to South Coast. But, I called Mr. Evans.
Hmm.
Went to California, ran into my bro, Randy Nolene. He kind of guided me through my process, and I went to a Dream Recovery in Costa Mesa. Shout out to Dream Recovery. My boy LA, my big homie LA, Connie, Todd, Ashley, she don't work there no more, but Jen, those were my people,
Hmm.
And every suggestion that any facilitator came in and made, I was doing it like the next day.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a sponsor. I come in, I got a sponsor.
Hmm.
Need to start working some steps. I'm on step 4. Like I started paying attention.
Yeah.
I went to Fountain Valley Alano Club. Shout out to the peeps that are running that over there. Good people.
Hmm.
Good people, man. And then my ceremony looks like when I wake up, I need to burn some medicine. I need to make a conscious contact with the creator by allowing him to come into my mind, allowing him to come into my heart, and giving him the ability to do what he needs to do in my life.
Hmm.
And it led me to a life that I never knew existed. It led me to being able to recover out loud.
Yeah.
And to speak about the things that are plaguing my people. So I completely get it. I can see where, the false pride, where I changed my ceremony. I quit praying because I used to pray for drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
I used to pray for those things.
Let me get enough money just to
like not even
get
that.
what I
like
need for the night.
let me have a gun when I see this guy. I'm
Oh my
taking all his
gosh.
drugs. Like and like that's who I was.
Hmm.
So today, I get to see like spiritually, I can't ever want anything bad for anybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that my people, my tribe, my tribesmen, I think that's one thing that they've all been. It's so easy for them to be negative
Hmm.
to each other, and I hate seeing that, man. Like how can you want good things, but you don't want good for all people?
Yeah.
Like where does your prayer stop? Where, if it's not for that person, like, and yeah, I get it. It was a tough thing for me to start doing at first,
Hmm.
but now I have to do it. Now I got to do it. Like there's no if and buts around when somebody's being negative to me, or they don't agree with the same ideals that I have,
Yeah.
that they're a bad person. So I mean, being able to get on here, talk about my truth, to talk about a solution that I found in AA and in Wellbriety. Like I can't even begin to tell you how grateful, like, just to have the opportunity,
Hmm.
to stop the generational curses, to learn more about my disease. And the more I learn about my disease, the more I can help more people.
Right.
So that's what this thing, that's my medicine today,
Hmm.
is that I've been through, my mom always tells me, like, son, like, you always got to go through so much, But that's just how hard-headed I am.
Yeah.
You always got something going on, and you always got to go through something. Like, almost like she wants to say, life's so unfair. But the crazy thing about losing everything is that the Creator gives me another chance to get it all back.
Mm-hmm. That we were given
Yeah,
that
if
chance.
that isn't grace, then I don't know what is.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not grace, then I don't know what is. If that isn't love, then I don't know what is. So, I didn't mean to go off on that.
It's okay.
I went all the way through
You did.
exes and everything. Boy, it all showed up today.
When
But-
you when you started like talking about your son, that like really hit me
Yeah.
deep. But a lesson that I've learned this year is that our children like don't belong to us.
Oh, yeah.
We always say like, God blessed me with this child and all of that, but really they still belong to God, and their lives are so valuable. There's so much in their little lives, and so in learning that lesson, I've learned how to stop trying so hard to be the best mom and just be able to slow down,
Mm-hmm.
because when you get in recovery, it's still, or when you are in recovery, it's still all or nothing sometimes for
Yeah.
for me, and so finding that balance of I don't know, just slowing down and being present. I don't know what I was gonna say because you talked for the whole time. So
She just knows it's almost lunchtime.
I'm getting hungry. Darian's over here just eating cornbread.
I'm already pound down the crumbs all over the office. But it's good.
Well,
No, but I'm
let's read the
grateful.
comments.
I'm grateful to be sober today and alive and well.
So are we.
Yeah.
So are we.
All right. Comments. Oh well, Dave Levi says, "Go off on a monk." Keep going. Keep going. All right. Okay. Vashti Alice says, "Good morning." David.
Good morning,
Hirsch says,
Alice.
Good morning.
Dale Roach says, "Good morning from Stuart Res, Nevada. Stay blessed, stay strong, stay sober."
Hey,
Wow.
appreciate you tuning in,
morning.
brother.
Mikai Clark says, "Good ceremony equals being a good relative equals harm reduction."
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
I
like
like
that.
that.
Thank you, Makai.
Timothy Davis says, "Good morning. Hope y'all have having a blessed morning. I know y'all are doing something really good with the hours y'all have been blessed with today. So I'm thinking creative for this day and being able to watch y'all do your thing."
Hey, appreciate you, brother. Hope you're enjoying that good Cali weather.
Dina says, "Talking my language, Barry." Misty says, "Over there just showing out." Jeremy Harjo says, "I got 7 also." I think that's about your kids.
Mhm.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
talking about your brains. Your brains.
My
Yeah.
poop brains.
Jake says, "Good morning."
Oops.
And
Good morning,
then it
Jake.
says, "The facade of being the man."
Good morning, Jake.
My name is Jake. I have a me problem.
Definitely. Definitely.
Carrie says, "Hi, I'm Carrie. I'm a spoon bending drink. My clean date is 1/1/2024."
Hey.
Thank you for
Only people that
sharing.
know that have bent the spoon know what that means. You know what that means?
Mm-hmm.
You been spoon?
No,
Yeah.
but I know what it means.
He says it's birthday night at at his home group, Free Life Group. Lots of good birthdays. If you're in the Shawnee area, it's in the meeting app.
Hey, thank you for dropping that. We appreciate that.
My auntie Brianna says toast nyake.
She's your auntie?
Yeah. That's what I said. Because then Olivia's kid's my cousin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the age
Okay.
difference.
Yeah,
Patrick
seen her last
Medicine
night.
Bird. Good morning. Hi, Tatum. Sup, HK. How's my Northern Kiowa brother doing? Good words, laughter,
Oh.
is good medicine.
Good
Love listening to
morning.
y'all. Have a great day.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
brother.
you.
Leslie says, "Good morning, brother."
Good morning, sis.
My Aunt Dina says, "Take away the old to make room for the new."
Always.
Uh,
Got to drop it off. Can't carry
Jake says, "Cough, cough. You're smudging me up too much."
it. Never.
And
Never.
then Dave says, "Dang, I put a movie on when Barry started and he's still going."
For real, left no room
Hey,
for
I had to
me.
get it out.
Yep,
I had to
yep.
get it out. You know, just reading. You know, like it started. It started way back. You know, for me, and so I had to take you out through that
That
process. With,
timeline.
Mhm.
you know, like it. You know, it. You know that's a powerful reading that we had today. You know,
Yeah.
and I lived it. You know,
Bye, Des.
fortunately, I came out on the other end. You know,
Mhm.
healed. You know, not completely healed, but you know, on that red road. So
Yeah.
And then Jake says, "Y'all ready for next month?"
you know we are. Are you ready?
I know we got a big porta potty just for you too.
Better wear underwear too.
Oh.
And then he says, "I really appreciate you being vulnerable, brother. I felt it and needed to hear it."
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's all I really got.
Me too. I hope everyone has a good, blessed, and safe weekend.
Yeah, what power are y'all going to?
I'm actually going out of town this weekend
Where you
on
going?
a road trip to Arkansas to go
What?
camping.
Ah,
Yeah.
To go camping?
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
glamping.
Camping in a hotel.
Yep. At a resort, actually. But we're gonna do all the.
We're going outside for a little while.
Yeah, the pool's outside.
We're gonna do all the camping activities while sleeping in the AC, away from bugs.
Oh my god,
But I'm excited.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Arkansas is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know they and this is one thing that my dad, he always wanted to go to Arkansas and he wanted to go see these ivory-billed woodpeckers. You know, at one time they thought they were extinct. I guess they're
Mhm.
like woodpeckers that are like huge. These
Like
huge,
Woody Woodpecker.
they're all black and they have white ivory-billed, you know, beaks.
Oh, that's scary.
So he said that they thought that they were, you know, extinct. And there was a guy that was on a, what do they call it? Kayak.
Hmm.
This guy was kayaking and he found a whole like colony of them.
Really?
Yeah, so my dad is always like, so it always made me like interested in, what do they call Arkansas?
Arkansas.
No, not the
What
Show Me
kind of state it is? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Arkansas.
No, they call it, you know, like the Show Me State,
The Woodpecker State.
no, the Woodwood.
The glamping
Um,
state.
The glamping state? No.
No,
We're gonna. There's like some
the
caves.
natural. I think it's like I can't remember. But anyways, you know, like my dad always. But you know, I've been to Fort Smith. Knew a big time drug dealer over there.
Oh my gosh.
I promise.
I can't remember where we're going in Arkansas, but it's like 5 hours.
you going with?
Not too far.
Oh my bad. Oh
I can't wait for the deets on Tuesday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mingo's gonna know before y'all know. and it's
Giving
not
all
gonna be
his
for me
sources.
either.
Yeah.
Wow,
So,
it's one of
yeah.
those camping trips. Okay.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, bro.
I cannot
Hell
go with
yeah.
y'all.
You
Turn it
could
on.
have made up something. We wouldn't have thought anything of it.
Anyways, y'all have a good
Yeah.
rest of your
Put
day.
your teepees up and but
Jake
yeah.
said F Arkansas better just go camp at Colony.
Camp in the mud.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna be co-hosts,
Forced co-host.
forced co-hosts, where it's like a kidnapping situation where
Oh.
we were put on the flyer without actually being asked. But you know, we'll because it is Colony, you know, we will
Dance for one song. at
yeah,
least.
we'll at least dance for two.
Our songs.
Our
Yeah.
honor song, then our gourd dance song, and then. But you know, but yeah, I hope everybody has a safe holiday, safe Labor Day. Mr. Domingo White Man is going to be head man. Are you head gourd dancer or head war dancer? Head war dancer for the Colony Powwow. So he's gonna try to have his special on Sunday, Monday.
Keeps changing the day on us.
Yeah, he keeps changing the day on
Yeah.
us. So yeah, but so yeah, see y'all somewhere. Hopefully,
Thank you all for tuning in.
like, share, follow, tell your mammy about us, and I hope.